All right, Mets fans, welcome back to the channel. Instant reaction to the Pete Alonso news right here on the True Mets Talk podcast. The New York Mets lose another member of their core, and Pete Alonso, per Jeff Passan, is signing a 5-year deal worth $155 million with the Baltimore Orioles. Quite simple. Pete Alonso bet on himself. He entrusted the process. He trusted Scott Boras to get the deal done, and he won. Pete Alonso won in the very end. Welcome back to the channel. And I apologize, this is coming a little bit late, but we're doing a video. Couldn't set up a live. I was actually out and about running some errands while this news broke. And I can't say I'm not surprised. So make sure to smash those thumbs up buttons, subscribe to the channel. I'll be with you all off season long during this long and grueling off season that we are about to embark on. Because David Stearns has made the conscious decision to gut this whole team out. Core gone. He wants to focus this team around Juan Soto, and I'll get to that here in just a second. As always, make sure to smash those thumbs up buttons, subscribe to the channel for more content, check out all the latest content, and make sure to comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Mets fans, we're hurt. I'm hurt. I sympathize with everybody that will come into this comment section and let me know how they are feeling. And I don't think that there's many Mets fans that have a good feeling, a positive feeling about this team moving forward. How can you, just after a year, right, of Juan Soto, where you miss out on the playoffs? He had a great season, $765 million, 15 years, $800+ million, you know, that it could be with incentives. And now you lose Pete Alonso. That was a dynamic 1-2 punch in the middle of your order. You lose Brandon Nimmo. You lose Edwin Diaz to the Dodgers, no less. And you have no idea, and nor do I, where this team is headed. What direction are they going in? Now, if you missed the video that I dropped earlier this morning, everyone should have saw this clip right here, what's next to me, and Pete Alonso leaving. We all knew this. As soon as the Orioles struck out on that 5-year, $150 million contract they offered Schwarber, we all knew that they were going to go ahead and take that entire contract and either allocate it to a guy like Tucker or Pete Alonso. And if it was Pete Alonso, Alonso was walking. Now, the other details emerging surrounding this decision by Pete Alonso is that the Red Sox also made him an offer. We don't know the valuation of their offer, but the report is it was for less years and significantly less money overall than what he got from the Orioles. The New York Mets, however, did not even offer him a contract at all. And that has to feel like a real slap in the face to Pete Alonso, given what he's done for this organization. And again, I wish him nothing but the best. 7 years as a Met, all-time Mets home run leader. He really stepped up to the plate, literally and figuratively, more days than not, a workhorse, and went to work for this team. And it's a shame this team could not win with him. But that's the bottom line and what we're talking about, because I've seen a lot of Mets fans after the 2025 debacle that transpired saying this core needs a shakeup. And that's exactly what David Stearns is doing right now. I don't think anybody, not even myself, saw the magnitude of this type of shakeup with what Will Salmon is talking about right here. Entering this offseason, Brandon Nimmo, Drew Smith. Nobody cares about Drew Smith, but he was a long-tenured Met. Pete Alonso, Edwin Diaz, all gone. Longest tenured Mets, all gone. And the fifth player is on the trade block and will be gone soon, and Jeff McNeil. Jeff McNeil's gone, which I'm completely fine with. But we're here to talk about Pete Alonso. To not even offer him a deal, we saw the latest report that they were reluctant, to go past the 3 years. We know that they weren't going to offer him 4. But at least offer him a deal. At least make him think about it. So it's very clear that David Stearns did not value Pete Alonso the way that, Mets fans have valued him, and he values himself. Like I said, he bet on himself and he won. He got more money than Kyle Schwarber when a lot of reports were saying that that wasn't going to be the case somehow, some way. and he got $5 million more. And most importantly, he also beat the odds of all these reports saying that he wasn't going to get the years, and he got the 5 years. Not quite the 6 or 7 he was looking for, but there's no way he was going up to 6 or 7. 5 years, and this contract is a win for Pete Alonso. And now Mets fans are wondering, where are we going from here? Is this a 3-year plan? Is Francisco Lindor next? Because when you have a 27-year-old Juan Soto and you're trying to build around him, and let's say you were trying to build around the prospects, because I can't see the Mets going out there and splurging for a big bat. I know Tucker's out there, Okamoto's out there, and I know Bellinger's out there. That's what's left, essentially. Murakami's out there, but they're not going after Murakami. Would be highly surprised. Do you think they're going to go out there and give any of these guys that type of deal that they're looking for? The answer is no. The answer is no. They might trade for a bat that has 2 years left on their deal, like a Wilson Contreras. They might go after an Eugenio Suarez for a 2-year contract. They do not want to give any long-term deals out, whether it's pitching or whether it's the offense, because they want Jet Williams up here. They want Carson Bench. They want all these young pitchers to prove themselves and be the faces of the organization, which is such a huge risk when you've invested your money, a large amount of money, in Juan Soto. And that guy's making $51 million on your roster. Oh, and by the way, Francisco Lindor is soon to be 33 years old. So the timeline of what David Stearns is telling us is not lining up to win with Francisco Lindor. So why not try to move off of him as well and get some assets? It just doesn't make sense. And now you have Sherman and Heyman bringing up the whole clubhouse issue again. I thought we put that to rest, but apparently multiple agents around the league have gotten word from the New York Mets directly that no matter what has been said on social media, there was indeed a clubhouse issue. Now, if you want to believe that, be my guest. I don't know if I believe it still, but it's clear that there needed to be a shakeup in the minds of this front office, not because of only a lack of production, because there was a clear lack of production, but also given the clubhouse dynamics. And that is a real shame, ladies and gentlemen. Last offseason, coming off of an NLCS appearance, the Mets had no choice but to go out there and spend to go get Juan Soto, because he was the biggest free agent on the market. You missed out on Ohtani going to LA, right? Prior. You have to go out there and get Juan Soto. So they did. But they couldn't just stop there. They had to bring back a guy like Pete Alonso, because you're not going to put Juan Soto in your lineup without much protection, quote unquote. Well, now we're entering a situation where that's going to be the case in 2026. They gave Juan Soto a mega deal at this moment with the way this lineup looks to walk even more, because you're not going to have the talent surrounding him in this lineup. Where is Steve Cohen in all this? Everybody wants to know. We keep on hearing richest owner in baseball, right? I love Steve Cohen, and I've appreciated what he's done so far. And it's very clear he's been willing to spend the money, and that money that he spent with the luxury, excess taxes and all, has not put a winner on the field. So while all of us Mets fans were laughing at Yankees fans, and trust me, I do not want to sympathize with Yankees fans. I don't sympathize for the Yankees. But all of us were laughing when the reports came out and said, Steinbrenner is thinking about lowering the payroll. And we were just laughing. Could never be the Mets, right? Steve Cohen building the casino, $330+ million again. Pete Alonso, Diaz is coming back. We're going to get this right. Ladies and gentlemen, that may not be the case. You may be looking at, even though it's never going to be directly reported, the Mets will never let this get out. You may be looking at Stearns and Cohen coming together. I'm not sure who brought this idea forth, but clearly Steve Cohen is taking a step back, giving David Stearns the complete authority to build this roster, and they have mutually agreed that some sort of payroll, the marker, is going to be lowered. And that's the bottom line. So I don't know where the Mets go from here. I'm not expecting big things. I'm not expecting the Mets to trade assets for a rental pitcher and Freddie Peralta. I'm not expecting them to trade assets for another rental pitcher, even though you should, if you really want to win, for a guy like Tariq Skubal if he is on the market. The New York Mets, quite simply, with what they've shown us, are committed to revamping this roster to go towards the youth movement. And if that's the case, you cannot tell us Mets fans that you are serious about winning in 2026. So this whole workaround when David Stearns comes onto these meetings and says, we plan to build a good roster, even given all these guys leaving. Yeah, there's an opportunity to do that because you still have names out there for the taking. Are you going to take that opportunity and give out the necessary money and the prospects to make that happen? Because every indication that David Stearns has given us, the answer is no. So you might as well be a little bit more forthcoming and tell us that the New York Mets are not serious about 2026. They're looking at 2027, if a season in 2027 even happens, and maybe more so towards 2028, when all these prospects that make up the best farm system in baseball are going to come up. And let's be honest, when these prospects do come up, I know Jet Williams, he might have a good career. Carson Bench might be a stud. Nolan McLean has already shown that he can be an ace at some point. Maybe not in 2026, but at some point. Brennan Sproat, Jonah Tong. Are all these guys going to come up and step foot onto a major league diamond and perform right away? You are talking about continued development and maybe not even hitting their strides until year 2 or year 3s, like Brett Beatty, of their career. Signing Juan Soto to that deal and doing what they are doing right now, things can change. I just said it. It could change, and David Stearns could prove everybody wrong, but it does not make sense. So Mets fans, that was my rant. That was my reaction. Bottom line is this, is that David Stearns is clearly under full control. Steve Cohen has taken a step back. The Mets want to go towards this prospect movement. This is going to be Juan Soto's team at some point. I know we talk about Lindor's captaincy, this, that, and the other. This is a clear indication that the Mets want this to be Juan Soto's team moving forward, and they're going to do everything in their power to make that happen. We'll see what moves, if any, the New York Mets make from here because they still have to put a roster together. Just don't expect any long-term deals, Mets fans. Incredibly frustrating stuff. I'll keep you all updated. Again, smash those thumbs up buttons. If you have a differing perspective, I'd love to know about it. Hit the comment section, and I'll see you all the next stream or video. Peace.